The biggest lesson for me was just checking my vanity and not relying on the way that I look. Because, for so long, it's like you take things for granted. You take smiling for granted. You take blinking for granted. And for me, I knew that people weren't used to seeing me in that light and used to seeing me down bad like that. So I'm like, do I really want to be vulnerable and put this out and have people see me all messed up? I really just have to check my vanity and just say, like, look, this is bigger than me. It's not about me. This might inspire somebody that's going through a similar situation, to fight through whatever they're going through. So I really just, it took a lot out of me. But, I was like, look, I'm going to put it out.
It's a humble period. So before we get into the present and what's coming up this week and what you're working on now, let's just go back to where this began. Take me back to where you're from and when you fell in love with film and knew that was something that you wanted to pursue professionally.
I grew up in Norwalk, California.
Okay. Where exactly is that?
It's like near Long Beach.
Okay.
Near Bellflower, Long Beach, Cerritos, that kind of area. I don't know if you're familiar.
I know Long Beach.
Yeah, I say Long Beach because it's like, most people know where Long Beach is. So
yeah,
I grew up Long Beach. Well, I went to college. I started acting in college. My second year of college, that's when I kind of started doing the theater thing because the school that I went to didn't have a film program. We just had a theater program. So I studied theater as a minor, and my major was, I think, sociology. Sociology and psychology were the only two subjects that I like understood and aced like 100%. Like I just understood the subject. So I was like, I might as well major in it and have theater as a minor.
That makes sense for you though. Like it makes me understand you as a filmmaker even more.
Then I realized what I really wanted to do. I wanted to pursue acting on the next level, on a professional level. So I left school, started acting, and then I was unhappy with the way my career was going. I was looking at the roles that I was getting, and then I was not booking, and then I was booking, and I was just frustrated. I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm going to just make my own content. And I started directing. I didn't know what I was doing, but I started directing and producing, and then grew a love for it. People really responded well to my films. At first, I didn't even consider myself a director. I looked at myself as an actor trying to provide myself opportunities, but now it's kind of like I'm moving into the realm of directing a lot more, and I've grown a serious passion for it. So
he is a director, and when I mean that respectfully to every other person who's a director and coming up, this guy really directs. He really takes pride in his craft.
Thank you.
He has had film showcases that I've been to. He's picked up a lot of awards as short films, but most importantly, his films have purpose. So his latest film, John, is an incredible film. And then also he created a documentary about his fight with Bell palsy.
He had palsy. You had a certain kind of palsy.
Oh, yeah. So,
is this what inspired the film, or was it just way before and it was a coincidence?
This is way before.
No.
I cannot make this up. So that's the thing. It was like, the character suffers from cerebral palsy. He has a bone dysformality because the way that his bones are structured, he can't lay properly. He can't breathe properly.
You're not going to tell me, I'm sorry, Jack, you're not going to tell me you made this film before you got palsy.
First of all, I wrote this film 2 years ago, and I made the film last October.
Okay.
I got sick in the end of April. Me and my friends, we laugh about it. Like everything that I make kind of comes true. I'm like, yo, I'm about to make a film about me being a fucking millionaire.
Right.
What I do is very spiritual. I believe so. And to your point earlier, I appreciate the praise, but all praise due to God, because I feel like he gives me these ideas, and I just act on them. I just obey, and I'm like, all right, I'm gonna tell this story. I don't know why I'm telling this story. I had no idea why I was telling the story. I thought I was just inspired by something that I saw in acting class, because I saw Nick do the character in class, and so I did my research on it. And I'm like, yo, what the fuck was that? Because I've never seen that before. I've never seen someone that had a disability get ready for their day. I'm like, yo, the world needs to see this. That's why that first scene is so drawn out, and you get to see the complexities of everything, which is a brave decision.
For your day the same way.
Listen, no, I can't make this up. Like, it really, it wasn't planned at all.
I'm like, oh, okay. I'm like, I get it now. I'm like, so your experience with Bell's palsy is what inspired John. And
no, absolutely not.
John was filmed before. Wow, just the orchestration of that. It's like, like so detailed what God did in your life, and then so, like kind of like how you make films is so detailed. You know what I'm saying? And it's like literally art entertainment life literally was just, you know, reversed. So you put so much emphasis on him and his day, and your day to day was almost similar.
When you talk about overcoming, I know that you've spoken about learning how to speak to yourself better and learning how to speak life over yourself, not just during the quarantine, but through fighting your sickness and just, I guess, really in your spiritual journey before all this even happened. So from someone who may be looking to potentially start an affirmation journey or just start, you know, speaking more positive things to themselves, or looking to go, you know, get a little bit closer to God, but they don't really know how, or it's a little bit scary. Can you just kind of lend some advice on how maybe they can take that first step, or what was the first step for you that kind of worked?
I had to learn the power of my words. What am I speaking? Like, what are the words that I'm speaking? And when I was sick, a lot of the words that I was speaking were negativity, like, oh, I'm getting worse. Like, I'm speaking the negatives and I'm not celebrating the positives. So what I had to do was I had to speak the healing, and that changed my life. It changed the whole way I was even going to God about my prayers. Instead of asking him, it was thanking him for the healing already, because he already told me that I was healed. So believing that, speaking the healing, like I'm already healed. Before, people were asking me, oh, how are you doing? I was saying, oh, I'm getting worse, da, da, da. Now I have to change it. Like, oh, I'm actually healed. I'm still going through the recovery process, but I'm healed already. It was just so powerful for me because you can see it. That's why I call it a visual diary. It's like, yo, I can't tell you it. I have to show you this shit. This shit is actually happening in my life.
Sounds like you really honed in on like that mentality, like that focus. You know, you talked about your relationship, your faith,
Right.
And from watching it, you know, just the encouragement, you know, those affirmations you had, the scriptures, the people around you really holding you down and making sure that you were pushing forward. I'm sure it got difficult along the way, but you made mention of like not wanting people to see you like on this low, like in this down place. You know, just looking at you on social media, putting up the skits, and you're getting the views and people are reposting it. You're almost living this life that people like ideally would want. You know, I put up a tweet, I hope I can get 20 likes, you know, 5 retweets maybe, you know what I mean? And you're putting out content that people love. So I think even you putting out something that had this serious feel to it, that was related to you personally, not just this macro experience, I think speaks volume in itself.
I've never had as much anxiety as I've had with these last two, because with the Bell's palsy joint, there's no character, there's no acting to hide behind. With my films, if I'm the actor in it, this is the character, this is not me. But with the documentary, I'm like, yo, I'm letting people into this is me, like personally, like this is like who I am at my essence. This is super vulnerable, super personal. I struggled with that, and I was really nervous, and I was super scared to put it out. So when I actually did put it out, I had to turn my phone off for like 2 hours, because I'm like, I don't know how people are going to
what
take
that response is going to be.
Yeah, because I knew people were used to seeing me in this, you know, in a certain light as far as with the skits. This was something completely different and totally left. So I didn't know how people were going to respond to it. And then on the flip side, you got John, which I knew for my audience and the people who support me, it was going to kind of be something to get used to, because first, I'm not in it. And the only film that I haven't not been in was America's Pit Bull. And that in itself is kind of like it speaks to our culture, it kind of speaks to the times, unfortunately. But this was a little different because, you know, I'm kind of taking a different approach as far as the subject matter that I'm talking about. It's a parallel to America's Pit Bull. It's like, I don't have to just tell one specific kind of story. I'm a storyteller. I can tell whatever story I want to tell. I'm a filmmaker. Don't just box me into like one kind of specific story. And that's a bigger statement that I'm making with the film. It's like, look at the stories that I can tell. It doesn't have to be, you know, just a specific kind of story. So I knew people were going to be like, what the fuck is this?
So I just find it interesting that you created this movie that's regarding somebody who's drawing pictures of a face. These men with different faces, they have no face. And then you end up having a condition where it affects your face. And then
the face, he's drawing faces.
But the faces are not distinct, right?
Right.
In the moment, he decided to be intentional and be distinct within the faces that he was drawing, his life began to unfold and change for the better. The moment you decided to be intentional with your prayer and direct with your prayer is the moment you started to see results within your life that were blessings, that were slowly healing, that was, you know, like, that's what I connected. I felt like it was just kind of like written, like it was just kind of fate, because like you already wrote it down, like you created this film that was already kind of the blueprint of how you needed to handle yourself through this challenge that you were about to experience.
What can we expect from Ramel now that, you know, everything has cleared up? You've learned the lessons that you've learned. You've connected spiritually. Like, what is Ramel going to give the people now? I hope some more TikTok videos too, but like.
Oh yeah, those are coming soon. I got a stash. You know, I got some in the stash.
Cool.
But yeah, just figuring out, you know, and being very intentional about what kind of stories I want to tell moving forward. You know, trying just to be in alignment and do what I feel like God has gifted me with as far as storytelling, and not hanging up so much of like, okay, you know, I want to be this, I want to be that, or I want to make this amount of money. It's like, nah, just being very submissive to what I feel like he's telling me to do. He definitely wrote and directed the story of Bell's Palsy. I just put it out there for the world. Please go support and watch the film. It's called John. If you want to check Fighting Bell's Palsy, it's also on my YouTube, which is Romel Rose. Social media is Romel Rose as well on all platforms. And yeah, tap in. We got some more content coming. You know, I'm putting out. I'm laying it all on the line out here.
Yeah.
So yeah, tap in, and you know, a little support goes a long way. If you guys like it, repost it, help spread the word. The more eyes we can get on it, you know, that's the goal.
How are you feeling health wise, by the way?
I'm a lot better, but now I think what I'm trying to figure out is finding the balance. You know, the work-life balance of like, okay, we're doing a bunch of stuff, but we just have to make sure that we're taking time for our mental health as well. Just trying to find the balance of like, okay, work, but also find time to really set aside for yourself and to take care of our mental, because we're just trained to be workhorses a lot. We're trained to grind, but we have to make sure that we're taking care of our bodies and we're taking care of our minds, because there's more to life than work. So
Absolutely.
That's my biggest thing, just trying to find the balance of everything.